Hello and welcome to the Arena Show, brought to you by thegatepost.com. I'm Vanessa Ryle, and as has become standard on this show, we have a jam-packed episode for you. Our feature interview is with leading event rider Tom MCEWEN. He's got a huge season ahead of him, so it's great to catch up with him. We also have the next in our series of schooling exercises with leading trainer Caroline Moore. This is the third in the series, and I think everyone's been enjoying the exercises so far, so there's more from her. We also have a feature on trying to survive the dreaded period of box rest, which no one wants in their lives, but some of us unfortunately have to deal with. So we've got some top tips for you on that. Our competition this week is kindly sponsored by BioVet. They've given us a £100 voucher for you and a friend. You can enter that by going over to our Facebook page and liking and commenting on the videos, and you'll be entered and you can spend it online. There's loads of different options for you. So that's very kind of them. But first up, we're going to head over to Tom MCEWEN. We sent our interviewer Hannah Brooke-Lawson down to see him in his Gatcombe base.
I'm on the Gatcombe estate in Gloucestershire, owned by Her Royal Highness Princess Anne, the location of the Festival of British Eventing and Gatcombe Horse Trials. He mixes with the finest, and there's no surprise there. Tom MCEWEN comes from a seriously horsey family. He's had an impressive career to date as a young rider and is now stamping his authority at senior level. So let's go and meet him. So Tom, thanks so much for having us here. We've picked a good day for the weather.
Most definitely, low sun, it's perfect for you.
Yeah, I can't see a thing, but that's fine, it's all about you. So Tom, take us back to when you first started riding, because I'm pretty sure that you were basically born a strider pony, am I right?
Not far off. Yeah, I think chucked on my first pony at the age of 2. Chucked on out hunting actually and got led round by my dad holding me on all day. Very good for his fitness at the time anyway. But like you say, yeah, pretty much born. My mum's always been horses. My dad's a vet and Lambourn, predominantly with race horses, but does a lot of event horses and jumpers and everything else that goes with horses. Yeah, so just grew up in the pony club, always lived really around Swindon area, so been part of the VWH since very young. So yeah, growing up on horseback, I suppose.
So you've been a part of the World Class Development Programme for quite a few years now. Talk me through a little bit about that programme, some people who don't quite know what it is, what it entails, and how important is it for you as a rider?
Yeah, of course. I've been lucky enough to be reselected for a number of years now. I'm not quite sure exactly how many, but it's part of lottery funding from UK Sport, and it's to develop your performances. So we don't just go there for the training, which is obviously amazing. You see different judges and pick up different coaches, but there's also, it's not just about the horses with the vets and physios that look in them, and you get outside perspective to work with your home team here. Right. But we get nutrition advice, our own fitness advice. Yeah, and it's really fantastic support, and you pick and choose what you really need to enhance your game, because like everyone says, you've got to try and improve everything by 1%. If you improve 100 things by 1%, then you're nearly there.
There are some big names on the training squad as well, aren't there?
I'm lucky enough to be able to train with the older guys as well. Thanks to a good horse at the end of last year. So yeah, we've got a lot of training in, especially this February has been quite busy with all the training, but yeah, it's definitely well worth it. And is it quite influential with selection and getting on teams, part of the World Class Development? No, I don't think so, not at all. It's just to help you sort of getting on sort of teams or looking to get onto championship teams anyway. It's all just about how you're performing from your plan of where you want to achieve to go anyway. Okay. So cool. Most people's sort of achievement would be sort of Badminton for the older horses, and maybe like a Brahman or somewhere along those lines, or a CIC route, and you aim, and if you're going well then you get selected. So no, world class has nothing to do with selection at all. It's just training you to be as good as you can be, picking up on sort of position analysis and making sure you're centred and sitting correctly, and yeah, just picking up on all the little bits that you should be wanting to improve so you can win the medals, hopefully.
And talking of Olympics and things like that, you what have you got planned for 2018? What are your sights? We're fairly early on in the season at the moment. What have you got lined up ahead?
So I'm lucky enough to have 2 that I'm going to be entering soon, hopefully, to Badminton. I haven't done it yet, but we'll do it at some point. And got a really good, strong string of horses this year. So yeah, getting them out and about, picking the events, finding out a few things about a few new horses. Probably be taking the younger horses, always take them to Tassels in Ireland, and the older horses will be fitting around. Enjoying the ERM series again. Would love to get more heavily involved with that. I wanted to last year, but with only a couple of horses at the top level, it's just a little bit hard to fit in everything you want to do.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I've got to preserve what I've got, and I don't like running the older ones. They don't need to be running fast each and every weekend.
Sure.
And especially with like Toledo, the good one, he doesn't run at all fast till he gets to a 3-day really, because he just doesn't need to, and he's a bit bonkers anyway. So yeah, really enjoy the series, and luckily for a few good years at 4-star, got my cash grille riders, which doesn't sound like a lot, but with the Event Riders Masters slightly changing how you can enter a few horses, it will help with that and help me entering a few of the other horses that have done 3-star that I'm getting to know that can be slotted into those series to go and be competitive, hopefully.
Denji really works for me and my horses. I take an enormous pride in how they look, and how they go is obviously key. They look $1 million, they deserve to feel $1 million, because I really want the best performance from them every time we go out. And I think one of the secrets to the success is fueled by fibre. They deserve to be fed the very best products available on the market, and for me that's Denji.
It's great to hear from Tom MCEWEN, and the second part of that fascinating interview is coming up later in the show, so stay tuned because Hannah has more with Tom. Next up, we have a feature on some top tips on how to survive a period of box rest.
Hearing the words box rest brings a sense of dread and disappointment as you come to terms with your precious one turning into a complete loon on their rest period. Once the words have sunk in, there are important factors to think about to ensure your horse's optimum well-being whilst confined. One of our ponies suffered a terrible flesh wound on her leg whilst in the field and has been on box rest for 5 weeks, with another 4 to go, fingers crossed. She's allowed a little walk morning and night, but most horses aren't that lucky to get a proper leg stretch and enjoy some fresh air. So we spoke to Claire Barfoot, registered equine nutritionist at Winergy, to ensure our pony's diet and respiratory health were at the optimum level whilst being stables. A high fibre diet, Claire advised, is key to maintaining digestive health, and for horses on box rest, forage should account for 70 to 100% of their diet. Wherever possible, ad-lib forage is ideal. A balanced diet is essential for any horse, and for those able to maintain weight on forage alone, a balancer is the ideal way to ensure optimum nutrition without the excess calories. Every stabled horse is at risk of lung irritation, and with this in mind, box rest can exacerbate respiratory conditions such as recurrent airway obstruction, formerly known as COPD. We've been adding Winergy Ventilate to her feed, which includes a blend of plant-derived antioxidants from broccoli and spinach, alongside high levels of vitamins C and E. The former vitamin C has been proven to increase the level found in the lung lining fluid. It also contains garlic, rosemary, nutmeg and grapeseed oil, all traditionally used to support lung health. We've also been using Absorbine's Hoof Flex Frog and Sole Care, which helps soothe the hoof and eliminates odours caused by bacteria and fungi. The clear liquid formula penetrates the frog and sole tissue and will not sting, stain or dry the hoof, and it also helps promote normal healing and does not kill live tissue. And in order to support the optimum circulation in her legs, we have been using Back on Track Scandic pads, which feature their unique Welltex fabric lining with infused ceramic particles that reflect infrared waves. The specially ribbed fabric allows a snug fit without bulkiness, and the stretchable terry outer ensures a simple application and helps avoid slippage whilst bandaging. We've got lots more advice on box rest over on thegatepost.com, and if you are having this at the moment and your horse is on rest, we really hope and wish them a speedy recovery and that you're both out having fun soon.
Taking care of your pets is a big job. ViaVet has everything you need, whether it's food, medication or accessories. Ordering online is easy and affordable. At ViaVet we sell all major brands: Purina, Royal Canin, Frontline, Hills, Dronsel and Fellaway. And with our regular delivery service, you decide when and how often you want it. Does your pet need medication from the vet?
Just send us your existing prescription and we'll do the rest.
Visit viavet.co.uk today.
This episode is jam-packed with top tips because coming up we have some training exercises with our leading event trainer Caroline Moore, the next in her series. And also we have Alex van Tuyll giving us some great advice on how to get the perfect prep ahead of a show.
So this is a bounce oxer bounce exercise that I use regularly for lots of different horses of all different levels, often the day before a competition. It's a way of really making the horse think about what it's doing with its feet. It uses different profiles of fences and it makes them very snappy and very active. So this exercise I've set up here is on a straight, and it's a bounce with 3.2 metres apart. I've used cavalettis, but you can use any other types of fences. Then we've got 2 non-jumping strides to an oxer. It's a square oxer. I always use square because the horse has to think about the front and the back rail. It doesn't need to be big, but you need to think about the profile of the fence to help the profile of the jump. And then the same distance out, which is 10 metres, to another bounce on 3.2 metres. So this exercise can be used from both directions. So here we look at the rider's position for this exercise. She's riding a young horse, so it's massively important, as always, to have a good secure lower leg, a really good driving seat there, and a good eyesight. And you can see here how her landing position is very good. Again, that lower leg with the heel down, her eyesight up, and the arm pretty much in a straight line, just following the horse's mouth. And again here you can see how the cavalettis really come into effect because they make the horse's hind leg work like a piston, so it has a really good springboard effect which helps with the canter for jumping. So here's a head-on shot here, and you can see the horse has a little wobble, so if you feel yourself veering off to one direction, keep your eyes looking straight ahead of you because that will make your straight line. So here's a horse with a slightly longer length of stride with less balance. And you can see that the rider gets a little in front of the movement, which doesn't actually help the length of step. So the horse is quite bold in here and on the landing loses the balance and has to work really hard to get out. So I suggest you keep your body up to not allow the stride to get any longer. So here's a slightly more advanced variation of this exercise, and it's the start of teaching a horse to be obedient before the fence on the landing direction. So we're going to come straight over the first 2 cavalettis, but on the landing stride of the cavaletti, we're going to give some instructions about where to go on the landing, so the horse knows where she's going on the landing of the spread. Okay, so if you're a little bit late giving an instruction, like Ben is here, you end up going to the inside rein and the outside shoulder can pop out. So that's what that would look like in the air. And then as you've landed, you'll be out of balance and in danger of a run out or a fence down. And this would be a little bit more correct, giving the little horse an instruction before she takes off, so then she lands knowing where she's going and it won't put any undue strain onto the limbs, and also she's a lot more imbalanced. From the side profile you can see here as Ben and you would do, open the inside rein to give a really good instruction of where you're going on the landing so the horse knows. And this is just what it would look like in the air from a late instruction on the left to an early instruction on the right, and you can see the difference in where the shoulder is, the outside shoulder. So the main points to be aware of here is making sure that the horse is following your eye, whether you're on a straight line or whether you're on the turning line, and giving instructions in plenty of time. Make sure you always finish off the line properly, because your landing is the next fence.
Okay, so now we're going to plait the forelock, so brush it down to make there's no knots. I take a section a little bit off the top. It's literally like plaiting a French plait in a human. So I divide it into 3. Same principle, with a little bit of tension, and I do them over. And then the sections you take from the side need to be small, so that when it sits later on the face, it looks nice, tidy and presentable. So as I go down, I can still continue to keep a bit of tension in the bits of mane in my hand, so that when I roll it up, it doesn't all bulge out the side. You go, Mischief. I never do the horses tied up when I do their heads, so that they can't pull back, panic, sustain a little injury to their neck. Because invariably they're off to do something, hence why we're plaiting them. If you've got a horse that doesn't like being plaited, make sure you don't pull its mane the day before, because they're probably going to be a little reluctant to have their mane filled with the subsequent day. So same principle, plait to the end again. Probably shouldn't put the needle in my mouth, but I do hold it between my teeth so it can't go down my throat. And then under to the top, tuck it down the plait to catch the little bit you've rolled up. And there we go. Mischief's got a few kind of what I call wings, so I just pull them out so that it's nice and tidy. Good girl. There we go, job done.
Thanks very much to Caroline Moore and Alex Van Tuyll, who really is the super groom of the eventing world. And we'll stick with that theme, because now we're going to head back to Tom MCEWEN's yard for the second part of our feature interview.
So talk me through some of your string, if you could give them some names, and where we can maybe try and see you out and about on them competing.
Yeah, so I've got Toledo Kerser and Strike Smartly. They're both 11 years old. Strike Smartly won a 3-star in Campfire last year, CCI, and he also won at Chatsworth, the CIC 3-star. He's a lovely horse, going really well. He feels fit and ready, and he's definitely a park horse, so Badminton should hopefully suit him. And the same with Toledo, he goes back to Badminton again. And they both just have a few quiet runs here and there before they get there. Slightly different plans for both of them, because they're very different horses. But yeah, and then I've got a few new ones. I've got Figaro van der Handel Hoff, I think that's how I pronounce it. Yeah, he's 13 or 14. I'm just getting to know him, to be honest, and I think he'll enjoy a few ERM legs. Okay, getting to know him. He's a lovely horse, and yeah, just hopefully enjoying him. And then I've got a few coming up with Royal Roxy and CHF Coolizer. They're 9 and 8 respectively. They should both be coming up and looking towards sort of Blenheim 8 and 9-year-olds towards the end of the year. Exciting. Yeah, and then we've got a lot around the 6-year-old age, so a lot of younger horses, which is brilliant and exciting. And luckily we always buy a few French horses, so we've got those coming up through the grade. So looking forward to it.
And you've got 23 based here at the moment, haven't you?
Yes, including working pupils and my sisters. yes, we've got a few in at the moment. So yeah, no, it's all good. I certainly can't complain about it. It keeps us busy and out of trouble. But yeah,
it's a really, really exciting year for you. And talking of ticking things off the list, what are your aims and sights looking towards Tokyo in 2020, the Olympics there?
Yeah, definitely got some sort of sight set on it, I suppose. Yeah, at the moment, I think if you get your horses going as well as you can at the moment, that's all you can ask for. Yeah. A lot can happen, not just with us, but with the horses. Yeah, anything can happen. It's long. 2 years is a long way, but sort of if you had it written down on paper, I feel that I'm in a good position at the moment, sort of age-wise with my horses and where they're at. So. Yeah. Paper maybe, but in reality it's a long way to go, so it's not even really a thought process at the moment.
Step by step.
Yeah.
So you moved to Gatcombe in 2016. How on earth did you manage to bag that? It's a stunning, stunning place.
Yeah, I don't really know actually. I wasn't really even, I was sort of I don't know, we were starting to get a few more horses. I wasn't really looking to move really. I'd been at Badminton for years and been based there with Sir Mark Todd and really enjoying it, but thought maybe it was time to set up by myself, go alone. And yeah, and I just got a phone call about this place, so I was really, really lucky. Yeah, and massively thankful for them to allow me to be here, because yeah, we've got lovely barn for the horses, got this lovely outdoor school here, the indoor, which has been massively useful this winter every time it's snowed or sort of early mornings like this morning. Where the frost hasn't quite come out the ground. This is sort of event horse paradise really. We've got the hills, the parkland, we've got gallops over at Aston Farm across the road. We don't really have to travel for anything if we don't have to. If the horses don't need to see anything, then we can do every bit of training we need to at home. The horses are unbelievably happy here. And I would say Badgetown was very good with the hills, but they're very naturally fit here just from the hacking.
For sure. Awesome. Well, thanks so much for your time today, Tom.
No problem.
And good luck for the season.
Thank you very much.
It's been great to hear from Tom, and we wish him and his team the best of luck for the coming season. We will be following them with interest. Now, we were delighted because eventing is back, thank God. Despite some horrific recent weather, there have been a few events running in this springtime, and one of them was Gatcombe Horse Trials, which put in a huge amount of effort to get their competition to go ahead on the Sunday. Leading horse and rider combinations were out in full force, and what a thrilling day of competition it proved to be. Izzy Taylor had a remarkable day, topping the leaderboard of 3 sections. It's proved to be a lucky hunting ground for Ben Hobday and Shadowman. They won at the Festival of British Eventing last year, and they managed to clinch a really strong OI section at the event at the weekend with a very classy double clear. Tom MCEWEN, who's obviously been the feature of this particular show, also took a win on his home turf riding Royal Roxy. So now in other news, there's been some exciting movements in the eventing world and the equestrian world in general. The St James's Place Barbary Horse Trials have announced that they have given the whole event a little bit of a revamp. It's got a few different things going on this year. They have the ERM back. Their tickets are on sale. The event is in July, but if you want to catch sort of all the news on the revamp and find out where you can buy your tickets, then head over to thegatepost.com. All the information is on there. Also, sticking with the eventing theme, the Badminton Horse Trials entries came out. There's plenty of exciting names on there, including last year's winner. There's Andrew Nicholson with Nereo. He's taking on Michael Young and the famous Sam, who is going to retire at the end of the year. So it'll be his last chance to win another badminton title, which is pretty exciting. Our horse, or mine and my mother's horse, Mulry's Error, has an entry. We don't know if he'll go yet, but it's a bit of an exciting time. We're going to see how he goes at the start of the year, and he might end up there with Ben Hobday, so that is very exciting news for us. We also have Carl Hester and Charlotte Desjardins have announced that they are going to be at the Royal Windsor Horse Show again this year. This is the Road to the World Equestrian Games campaign. You'll be able to see them in action now with some of their top horses. Again, head over to thegatepost.com for more information on that. There's also our on thegatepost.com, there is also our winner chicken dinner feature. Now this is where we contact people who've had a win that week and we just hear what their story is. Lots of you have interesting stories. So if you've had a win in any sphere, whether it's show jumping, dressage, eventing, whatever, just get in contact with us and you might be featured in our winner chicken dinner section. It's pretty cool and you can tell your story. It doesn't matter what level you're at, it doesn't matter what you've won, just get in contact with us. We love to hear from you guys. And don't worry if you haven't won a ribbon, just head over to thegatepost.com anyway, because also we have our event guide there where you can find out all the vital information for any events you might be going to. You can also leave your comments. We like to read the funny ones, the bad ones, the good stories, everything. So yeah, head over there and you can catch up with all the news, views and everything you need on thegatepost.com. And I think that's it from us for this episode. As always, thanks very much for watching. It is much appreciated. Give it a like, give it a share, give it a retweet, do whatever you like, but thanks very much. And just remember, keep this between you, me and the Gatepost.